Okay, I thought I'd do a follow-up video on my Mercier Kilo WT. And I've owned this bike about 6 months now. Put about 1,000 miles on it. I bought this bike to do commuting to work every day and also to do some gravel road training rides in the wintertime when the weather allows, and save some wear and tear on the drivetrain on my gravel road bike. And for that, it's been doing an awesome job. I've almost burned through my second chain on this bike already. So obviously the road grit is tough on those drivetrain components, and with the simplicity of this bike, it's not much of an issue at all. Chains are under $10 a piece, so not a lot of cost in that. I guess some of the changes I made to the bike is I added fenders to it, which for commuting and even for the sloppy riding I'm doing, it's a must. The only issue I had with it is these are just some inexpensive Planet Bike fenders, 45 millimeters I believe is the size. But I did have some toe overlap issues here when you get your foot towards the front of it. I don't hit the tire, but I was hitting the fender, so I had to cut off about an inch and a half or 2 inches off the back of the fender, sacrifice some of the protection you get from the fender, but I think that's a good trade-off to not hit that with your toe and rip the whole thing off on a ride. Obviously, the fixed gear aspect of this bike, you end up you don't have the option of kind of coasting around corners slow, so you got to make sure that toe overlap isn't an issue for you. Other than that, you can see they're not the original tires. I've got some studded winter tires on here now. They're Schwalbe Winter Marathons, I believe, 35 millimeters, and they're a great tire for when things get icy. I live up in North Dakota, and it's been a lot of ice this winter, especially in the January time frame. I was out on some pretty slick roads, and it didn't stop me with those type of tires on there. I guess the big change I made was up on the handlebars. I went from the stock handlebars to it's a Salsa cow chipper handlebar. So that's an off-road drop bar, and I guess I kind of get a feel for what that bar looks like from the back, but I don't remember the exact dimensions for the sweep and all that, but it's a lower drop and a lot wider bar, and it's really comfortable when you get out on a bumpy gravel road. So I really like it for that. The other advantage it has for this kind of a single speed type of bike is that you get up a steep hill. I've got some hills in my area that probably approach that 12% grade, and it's tough to get up them if you don't have enough leverage, and with that little wider stance that really seemed to help. So like that. Other than that, I guess the only other changes I made, obviously I just got some standard flat pedals on there. Those are real solid pedal, no issues with that. I added these chain tensioners in the back that just kind of help set the chain up nice. And I've gone from I think it was a 16 tooth cog to 18 tooth cog that just fits the terrain I live in a little bit better, at least for my fitness level and so forth. I guess the positives I see with this bike are it's a nice riding steel frame. I don't know that I've always been sold on carrying around the extra weight in the frame for perceived value and ride quality, but I really can tell a difference now that I've ridden this bike for a while. It's got a real spring to it that I think only steel frames really have that lively feel to them, and so I really like that about the bike. And the durability of it. Obviously, it's too early to tell long-term durability of it, but so far it's been holding up good. But I just really appreciate the nice comfort of the ride. And then this bike, the capability of putting wider tires on it, that also gives you a lot of comfort options. So I didn't leave them on there. I just for the heck of it, I had some 42 millimeter tires on there, and they fit both front and back with plenty of clearance to spare. Not with those fenders on. That's the only downside. You'd have to ride without fenders to put anything probably bigger than these 35 millimeter tires on there. But for most of the things I do, that's probably a big enough tire, and not an issue. I just, for the riding I'm doing, I need to keep those fenders on. As far as anything negative, I guess it would just be that stack and reach on this bike seems to be a little bit more aggressive than what would warrant for a bike of this type. It just seems like it's a little more racier geometry. You can see I've got all the head spacers on there yet, and that's probably where she's gonna stay. It's really comfortable. I got it where I want it, but I almost probably could go with the next smaller size. I think they had a 50 centimeter, but then I think that toe overlap down here that I was seeing with the fender, I would see that with the tire, and unless I would convert this to a single speed versus the fixed gear, that would be a problem. So overall, it's a great value bike from Bikes Direct. I would say you can't. I don't think can go wrong with it. You'll certainly get your use out of it. Like I think I said in the first video, the wheels are still super smooth bearings. They're sealed bearing. There's been no issues with the wheels. They're stayed in true. I've been jumping over curbs and all kinds of things, and they've held their trueness. They're a nice solid wheel set, so no worries there. And like I said, the frame is good, and the rest of it you can change to your liking. So overall it's a well-designed bike for the price, and I highly recommend.